Hey there, welcome to the Animator YouTube channel. In this lesson, we are going to talk about one of the 12 principles of animation, which is timing and spacing. Now, timing and spacing are the fundamentals of animation. So, let's start by understanding what is timing. Okay, so the number of frames a certain action take defines as the timing of that particular action. Now let's understand this with the help of a simple example. Now in the first car animation, it's taking 48 frames of screen time and the second one is taking 92 frames of screen time. So by increasing the number of in-between frames, you can see the action seems slower. So from here we can conclude that the more the number of frames the action takes, the slower it will appear. Now, timing is not all about the speed. There is also lots of other factors that are involved and which you have to consider. And before making a particular animation, you have to judge what should be its timing because it will basically impact in lot of other areas in your animation. Now, what I mean by this, let's understand this with the help of a punch animation such as this one. Now, this animation is taking around 25 frames. So, by the way, I'm working in 24 FPS or 24 frames per second. So, I'm talking in frames with respect to that only. Okay, so here we can see that it's looking like this character is punching very hard. Now, there is another animation I have done. I have just, this action is quite similar. I mean, exactly same, but I have increased the frames. This one is taking 37 frames. And the third one, another one is, which is this one, is taking 43 frames of screen time. Now, the first one, if we compare the three, we can see that the first one is, it's looking like it's punching very hard. But the second one doesn't look like it's punching very hard, or rather it's looking like he's mocking someone, or rather practicing his move. But the third one is not really looking like a punch at all, rather it's looking like he missed his shot. So as you can see, by varying the timing, we can change how the animation will look or what story it is telling. So the number of in-between frames we insert between the main poses, or rather the total number of frames, defines what will be the personality of that particular animation and also the nature of that animation. Okay, so other than timing, there is also another important concept, which is spacing. This one is also equally important. Let's understand this with the help of a simple animation. Now, in both the cases, this animation is taking 1 second, but even though each of the animation is starting and ending at the same time, even hitting the midpoint at the same time, but each of the animation has a different feel to it. So, if we observe the onion skin or the in-between frames, we can see that there is the difference between the spacing between the in-between frames, which is giving an illusion of mechanical movement in the first one and a more natural or acceleration and deacceleration in the second one. So this is known as spacing in animation. Let's take an example of a ball bounce. Now, this ball is moving up and down in y-axis, but this animation doesn't look like a ball bounce because if we look at the in-between frames, we can see that all the in-between frames are spaced equally, and which is giving an illusion of a linear movement or a mechanical movement. But if we apply ease in this animation, right now, it's actually looking like a ball bounce, which means the ball is falling under the force of gravity. So if we look at the in-between frames right now, we can see that the spacing between the in between frames is continuously increasing till the time it strikes the ground, which is giving an illusion of the ball is falling under gravity or acceleration. Now, if we look at a ball bounce in both in y and x axis, or if it also moves in y axis, let's observe the full ball bounce animation. Here we can see that if we observe the in between frames, the points where of the arc where the ball should be at its slowest speed, that particular points, the speed, the distance between the in between frames is minimum, and the point where it should be in its maximum speed or should be accelerating and till the time it strikes the ground, that particular point its spacing is maximum. So from this altogether we can conclude that more the spacing, faster the animation will appear, and less the spacing, slower the animation will appear. Alright, so that is it for this lesson. Hope you like the video. If you like the video, then make sure to hit the like button. If you have any doubt regarding the video, then make sure to comment down below. I will be happy to help you out. And if you are here for the first time, make sure to hit the subscribe button and press the bell notification button to stay notified for all the future updates. Until then, goodbye.